Revolutions don't stay still. Once the American colonies proved that a people could overthrow a king and build a nation on the idea of natural rights, the shockwaves raced across the Atlantic. Within a single generation, France erupted, Haiti rose in fire under Toussaint Louverture, and Latin America, led by figures like Simón Bolívar, fought to break centuries of Spanish rule. The question wasn't if revolution would spread, but how far. In 1776, the American colonists declared something radical. Governments exist to protect the people's rights, not a monarch's power. They built a republic, a constitution, and a government grounded in Enlightenment ideals. For the world, this wasn't philosophy anymore, it was proof.
All men are created equal, endowed with unalienable rights.
The document declared the nation's intent, but the country had not yet cast aside the cultural yoke of slavery that bound 500,000, nearly one-fifth of its people.
People across the Atlantic world whispered the same question. If the Americans can overthrow tyranny, why can't we?
In America, we saw people govern themselves, not by the will of a king, but by the consent of their citizens. It was as if a new world was being born before our eyes.
Inspired by the Declaration of Independence, French revolutionaries wrote their own, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen. The French watched the American colonies and saw something revolutionary. Popular sovereignty wasn't just theory anymore. A people actually governed themselves. Written rights proved that freedoms could be guaranteed on paper, not granted by a king. Equality under the law became a demand, not a dream. And above all, the success of the American Revolution deepened France's growing distrust of unchecked monarchy. If a distant colony could challenge a king, why couldn't France? The American Revolution struck France like lightning. Feudal privilege, centuries old, collapsed almost overnight. A king fell, and in his place rose a republic built on the promise of equality. French reformers wrote constitutions that echoed American ideals, popular sovereignty, rights of citizens, and government by consent. But France took liberalism farther and faster than anyone expected. The push for liberty spiraled into factional chaos. Chaos ignited terror, and terror paved the way for a new kind of ruler.
If rights belong to all, then the king's power belongs to none.
But the American and French revolutions ignited something even more explosive. A revolution among the enslaved. In Saint-Domingue, France's wealthiest colony, people of African descent heard France proclaim liberty and equality for all citizens. They understood the promise. They understood the hypocrisy, and they knew exactly what it meant for them.
If liberty is universal, then it must be ours.
And if France will not give it, we will take it.
From this fire rose Toussaint Louverture, a self-educated former slave with the discipline of a general and the vision of a statesman. Historians call him the Black Spartacus, the man who transformed a slave uprising into a full-scale revolution.
I was born a slave, but nature gave me the soul of a free man.
Like Spartacus, he fought an empire. Like Washington, he built order from chaos. Britain, Spain, even Napoleon all sent armies to crush Haiti.
This Louverture, he fights as if he knows our plans before we make them.
Liberty is our North Star. We follow it or perish.
Haiti became the first nation in history born from a successful slave revolt. Its constitution outlawed slavery forever.
No man here is a master. No man here is a slave. All are children of liberty.
The world trembled, especially slaveholding powers like the United States, France, and Great Britain, who feared that Haiti's revolution would spark the same flames of freedom at home. The fires of revolution kept spreading. If Louverture was the Black Spartacus, then Simón Bolívar became the George Washington of South America, a visionary who believed an entire continent could break its chains and stand as independent republics. As a young man, Bolívar traveled through Europe and witnessed the fall of monarchies firsthand. And although he never visited the United States, he studied its example closely, a functioning republic built on Enlightenment ideals of liberty, citizenship, and self-government.
Washington proved a nation can be born from principle, not bloodline.
When Napoleon toppled the Spanish king in 1808, Latin Americans saw their moment. With the royal authority shattered, the colonies realized they no longer owed obedience to a monarch who no longer ruled. The door to independence had finally opened.
We are not Spaniards, we are Americans, and we will be free.
Libertad.
Like Washington, Bolívar wanted more than victory. He wanted unity, a single grand republic that would bind the newly freed nations together, stretching from Colombia to Bolivia, strong enough to stand against empires old and new.
If we do not unite, we will perish separately.
In one of history's greatest military feats, Bolívar led his army across the freezing Andes Mountains, a South American echo of Washington crossing the Delaware, bold, impossible, and timed to strike when no enemy expected it.
Forward, a continent waits for its freedom.
But even Bolívar needed help. Driven into exile, he sailed to Haiti, the first free black republic, seeking aid for the liberation of South America. Haiti agreed on one condition.
Abolish slavery wherever you win.
And where we triumph, slavery shall fall.
And he kept his promise.
By 1830, the world had transformed. The American Revolution had set the spark, but in France, that spark became a wildfire. The French pushed Enlightenment ideals farther and faster than anyone imagined. The monarchy challenged the divine right of kings, once unquestioned, shattered. Louis XVI was overthrown and executed, the first European monarch to fall to a citizen-led revolution. His wife, Marie Antoinette, forever haunted by the false phrase, "let them eat cake," followed him to the guillotine. Feudal privileges ended in a single dramatic night, August 4th, 1789. Centuries of noble privileges, feudal dues, and church tithes collapsed. What had defined French society for generations vanished almost instantly. Constitutions inspired by the U.S. reformers looked across the Atlantic and saw a working model. Written rights, popular sovereignty, and a government bound by law rather than birthright. France embraced these principles and tried to build a republic of its own. A republic attempted, but forging a nation without a king proved far more volatile in France than in America. Political liberalism surged without restraint. Factions battled for control. The revolution spiraled into chaos. Chaos ignited the reign of terror, a moment when liberty's bright promise dimmed beneath fear, suspicion, and the blade of the guillotine. From the American Revolution, Haiti across the Caribbean, the promises of liberty echoed even louder. In France's richest colony, Saint-Domingue, enslaved men and women heard talk of universal rights. Rights that were said to belong to all people. They did not wait for permission. The enslaved rose up, demanding the freedom the revolution claimed to guarantee. Their struggle forced France to confront its own ideals, and for the first time in the modern world, slavery was abolished in a European colony. From this uprising emerged something the world had never seen, the first free black republic, Haiti. Born from fire, led by extraordinary figures like Toussaint Louverture, Haiti stood as living proof that liberty could break even the strongest chains, and the world, especially slave-holding nations, trembled. From the American Revolution, Latin America south of the Caribbean, the revolutionary spark leapt across an entire continent. For centuries, Spain had ruled its colonies through distant kings and rigid hierarchies, but when Americans proved a people could govern themselves, Latin America began to imagine a different future. Independence movements spread from Mexico to Argentina, led by visionaries like Simón Bolívar and José de San Martín. Across mountains, jungles, and battlefields, they fought not only to defeat empire, but to build something new. As the wars of liberation unfolded, the blueprint of the United States became a model. Governments built on constitutions, citizenship instead of colonial status, republics replacing royal authority. By the 1820s, the old imperial order had crumbled. A new principle, national sovereignty, took hold. Nations would choose their own destinies, and the map of the Americas would never be the same again. The American Revolution lit the spark, but each revolution shaped its own destiny. America proved that ordinary people could defy a king. France took that spark and demanded equality. Haiti pushed it farther still, insisting that freedom must belong to everyone. And Bolívar dreamed of an entire continent rising together in liberty. Different lands, different battles, different visions of what freedom could be, but all were born from a single revolutionary idea, that people, not kings, not empires, should decide their own destiny. The spark began in America. The fire reshaped the world.